like so whenever we are receiving the APIs from the developer, so why we are learning this part means, so we should be able to understand what are the parameters we have in our APIs. Okay, so based upon the parameters, we will be using different methods to retrieve the information from the server. Okay, so that's why we should be able to understand. For example, see, if you look here, we have a we have a resource here. Okay, so direct HTTP is the protocol. Remember, this is the protocol, and this is my domain name. Localhost is the domain name, and index.php. So this is my resource. Okay, so this is my resource, or this is one module inside my application. This is one functionality inside my application. Okay, so I'm accessing index page. Okay, so if it is, this is on a web application means it contains several pages, nothing but several functionality, several modules. Okay, so this is the index page, this is the login page, this is the some other information services page. Okay, so in this I'm accessing this index page now. Okay, so first I have to reach to my application, then I have to provide the particular resource name here. Okay, okay, this is kind of direct URL. Okay, so if you come here we have some extra parameters. Okay, so by linking into this question mark and all, by the time we should not get a question mark in our head. Okay, so that's why we are learning, before jumping into the API testing and all, what are the parameters about the web URL we are learning in the session. Okay, so here, okay, what it is telling, this is the protocol, this is the domain name. Okay, we are, say suppose this is the search module, search functionality, or search resource. Okay, the second one. So now what they are telling in this URL, okay, go to the search resource. So in that search, what exactly action it has to perform. Okay, so some extra information about this resource they are providing. So that is nothing but they are sending that information with the help of the query string. Okay, so this is what after the question mark, whatever we have, there is something like extra information we are sending for this particular search resource. So in general, if we talk about, so we are telling with this URL that go to the google.com, go to the search tab, and search for the iPhone 11. This is what we are specifying here. Okay, so this API is doing this action now. Okay, so but we can tell it in orally, but how we can specify that in in the URL format? This is the way that we have to specify. Okay, so here what it is doing, this API, what action it is doing is it is going to the search, and here we are giving some query parameter, query string, means we are appending some string extra information about this resource. We are sending some extra information to this resource. Okay, so whatever the information we are giving, that it is going here and it is doing. For example, here it is a something, if you want to search some place. Okay, so we can go here in the search and we can provide some extra information that what exactly we need to search. Okay, so this is nothing but query string, something like a path parameter. So path parameter means we will not specify any question mark and all. Along with the path of the URL only we will specify that. Okay. For example, yeah, here this is the search. Okay, search resource is there. Just example I'm giving. Okay. No, maybe it is a contact here. This is the contact module. In this contact module, again I have to go for the some sub module. Okay. Again I have to go for some sub module. Like this we have some submodule. Okay, so by the time we can specify that in the path parameter itself. So like how, so like here, like I'm going for first it's protocol and domain name, then I'm reaching contact. In the contact I had to get the employee contact. Okay, so this is what path parameter we call it as. Okay, So in interview, they may ask you the difference between the path parameter and query parameter. Like so just give an example of the API which contains the path parameter. Give an example of the API which contains the query string. Okay. So simply you check your basic knowledge on the uh, whatever the parameters we have, whatever the parameter we come across while working with API, just they may ask you to write some example. Okay, so by the time you can just take like this one simple example. If it is a query parameter, yeah, like that we can define. This is a path parameter example. Like that, you just take a basic example and you can tell them. Okay, so this is what done. Okay, about the web URL, I think it's clear. If you have any doubt, please just let me know. Okay, so but be clear with the each and every parameter. Okay.
So, ma'am, one thing here. So here we have not given the port number, right? So coming to the second time, http google.com. So
Mm-hmm.
is .com is the port or what is?
Yes, yes, yeah. This is the port number. Yeah, this is the port number only. But this, yeah, I forgot to, tell you that. Thank you for reminding. So here, okay, here we have this many parameters like protocol we have, domain name we have, port number we have, resource path we have, query string we have. Okay. So in this, all these parameters, some parameters are optional and some parameters are must and should it's required. Okay. So in this port number is like an optional parameter. You can explicitly specify that in the URL, or if you are not specifying it also, that's fine. No issues. Okay. Yes, this is the port number of the application. For example, port number in the sense, so you know that, right? So whenever we are deploying some application, each and every application will occupy some unique queue space. Okay. For example, here in my local system, I'm downloading some application. So that application will, occupy some unique queue address in my local system. That is nothing but a port number. Okay. For example, this is my GitHub. Okay. I'm installing GitHub. Maybe it is taking 8080 port. Okay. This, this address it is occupying. Okay. So in this address, I have a GitHub application. So again, I'm downloading some application. Maybe that is Jenkins. Okay. I'm installing Jenkins in my system. So when I'm installing Jenkins in my system, it's not possible to install that system in the same port number. Means in the same address. Okay. For example, we have built a house in some address. It's not possible some other person to come and build on the same space. Okay. So like that it will be. So what happens? Okay, I installed my GitHub in 8080 port. Okay, so now in the 8080 address, my GitHub application is there. So when I'm installing Jenkins, if I try to install the Jenkins in that 8080 port only, what happens? It will throw you some error. It will give you some instructions saying in 8080 port already one application is running. Would you like to continue the installation in the same port? Like that, it will give you the instruction. It will alert you by the time itself. Okay. So what happens? Okay, we can install. Okay, even though if it provide you some alert message, you can continue the installation, no issues. Okay, you can continue that. But what happens whenever you are using the GitHub? It's not possible to use the Jenkins simultaneously. Okay, because in 8080 port already your GitHub is running. It's fully occupied with a GitHub application now. Okay, so whenever one application is running in one port number, it's not possible to use other applications simultaneously. Okay, so that's why it's always we avoid to install in the same port number. Okay. Okay, maybe you will get server is busy. Whenever you're running GitHub, you will get whenever you try to open the Jenkins at that time only, you will get a error saying like already some application running in this port. So please change the port number for the seamless work or something it will throw you error in this case. Okay, so it's always recommended to use the separate port number for each and every application. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So clear, right? Regarding the port number. So
Yes.
it's some okay. Every application will occupy the different port. Okay. So for example, now I installed my GitHub in the 8080 port. So while launching this GitHub, so I will give just example I will give you. Okay. So HTTP GitHub 8080. Okay. So if I give like this, it will automatically open the GitHub. Okay, this is browser. Okay, this is your browser. In one tab, I'm opening GitHub. Okay, so this is one tab. This is one tab, and one more tab I'm opening here in the browser parallelly. Okay, simultaneously I'm working, and I'm opening here Jenkins. HTTP s Jenkins 9090. Okay, so when I am using different port number, when I'm installing the application in the different port number, so I can run the application parallelly simultaneously. Okay, so simultaneously I can open in the different tabs, but if it is in the same port number means it's not possible to open. It will show you an error. Okay, like saying like already an application is running, at this time it's not possible to open the Jenkins. Okay, so like that we will get a error. Okay, but this is a why with respect to the URL. Okay, so this is an optional parameter. We can specify this, or if we are not specifying also, it will open. Okay, okay. So then I think we're done with this all this. Okay, browser. This is all I think I already explained, right? So whenever we are entering some URL in the browser internally, how it goes to work. So this is the browser. I'm entering some Facebook URL. So in the browser internally it is creating a address. Okay. So that address means one is HTTP request and HTTP response. Okay. So in the HTTP request, what are all the parameters we are passing in this URL that will go. Okay. URL, domain name, then query string. What are the parameters we are specifying in the URL that will go as part of the HTTP request. Okay, from the HTTP request, see, I'm specifying here login resource here. Okay, so this information first it is going through the HTTP request. From here, in the browser, it is created the address like this, and through the HTTP request, it is going here with the application. Okay, in the application, it's going here and it is fetching the login page. After fetching the login page, as a response, is again rendering us the response here as part of the HTTP response. Whatever we are expecting, that is we are receiving here. Okay, so in the network we have a multiple applications. Okay, there are millions and billions of applications. So domain name is like a unique way of identifying the each and every application. Okay, IP address is also unique for each and every application. Okay, so domain name, all these are the required parameters, but this port number and all like a optional parameter. Okay, okay, so this is done. So port protocol, I've already said, right? It's a common language where two applications exchange information each other. Okay, so protocol is like a address. Okay, so means if we are using the HTTP protocol, so this HTTP protocol is defined in some fashion. Okay, so here we are using HTTP protocol, so we are defining the URL like this. Okay, if it is some other protocol, so however they have a they have designed in such a way we have to design the URL. Okay, so here we are using HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocol clearly saying that yes, after my protocol, I want I want you guys to mention the domain name of the application. Yes, after the domain name, if it's required, you can specify the port number. After the port number, you have to specify the resource path only. After the resource path, then remaining things and all you can specify. This is some kind of like address it is setting. This in this syntax only we have to uh, create the URL. Okay, for example, this is the HTTP. Okay, it's not possible you to initially itself to mention the index.php, then domain name. Okay, so this is all like interview questions. Okay, to make you guys confused, they will ask you like these are questions, or they will give you in objective type. Uh, what is that? Some online exam initially they will provide. Okay, if you are giving a API interviews and all, first round of interview they will give some questions with some multiple choices. Okay, so by the time you come across like this of questions, so they will ask you, okay, okay, if you are following the HTTP protocol, what is the syntax you need to follow? Okay, is it a correct syntax to follow? Like means it is a correct syntax or what? Like that they will ask you. Okay, so they will first specify the resource path, then they will specify the domain name, then protocol, port number like this. Okay, and they will ask you like it is means correct or wrong. Okay, so you have to be very clear with this that if you are using the HTTP protocol, you have to follow the syntax only. Okay, so domain name should be the first, then the remaining parameter. Okay, so logically also that only, right? See, if you think logically, yes, without getting inside the application, how it's possible to reach the resource, correct? Okay, so this is the syntax you need to follow here. Okay, so here, so we don't have only the HTTP and HTTPS protocols. Okay, so we have several types of protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SMTP. Okay, but each and every protocol works in different fashion. Okay, but as with respect to the browser level, okay, so we only work with the HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, so browser level protocols are nothing but HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, I will tell you this what is FTP, SMTP. But with respect to the browser, we use these two only. So now question, when we have to go for the HTTP and HTTPS? Anybody know? When we have to go for these two? Okay, browser, we can use the two types of protocol. Okay, in the browser. So whenever we are launching any of the web application, either we can use HTTP or HTTPS. These are the browser level protocols. Okay. So but now question is when we have to go for these two protocols, when we have to use this HTTP and when we have to use this HTTPS. Hmm.
When the site is secure, we used to use HTTPS.
Yes, right. Not clicking right. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but
If
sometimes
it's
your voice
wrong,
is
then
getting.
hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Yes. Okay. Hmm. So HTTP. So what is HTTP? Hypertransfer Text Protocol. So HTTPS, Hypertransfer Text Protocol Secure. Okay. So whenever there is a requirement that just we need to retrieve the information from the server. Okay. So we are just retrieving the information from the server. Okay, for example, so this is the Google, and I'm just telling the Google that retrieve the information about some resource. Okay, so whenever we are just retrieving the information from the server, so it's okay to use HTTP by that time. Okay, so because we are not sending some information to the server. Okay, so while we are sending some information, whatever the information we are sending, that has to go with very secure manner. Because for example, sometime we will be sending some credential details, correct? Or else sometime, for example, we are accessing the bank application name. Sometime we will be while we are logging in, we are sending our credential details of the bank account. Okay, so by a time that details has to go very secure manner, right? Other person should not be that whatever the credential we are sending should not be visible to some other person. Okay, so by the time we have to make use of a HTTPS. Okay, so it should not be visible in the browser. Whatever the data we are sending to the server, it should not be visible in the browser. Okay, so by the time we have to make use of a HTTPS. Okay, but while retrieving, it is okay to use anything, either HTTP or HTTPS. No issue. There is no any restriction that you have to use only HTTP like that. Okay, you can use anything in this too. But it's okay to use HTTP also whenever just you're retrieving the information from the server. Okay, but whenever you are sending some information, must ensure that you have to make use of a HTTPS only. You have to send that information with a secure manner. Okay, because sometimes you will be sending your credential details. Uh, okay, so that if for example it's a banking account. Okay, so you're logging into your account, you're giving your credentials there. Okay, so whenever you are entering your credential, if it's visible in the browser itself, means if some other person seen it, means if he can also easily make use of your credentials, right? So that should not happen. Whatever you are entering your details, that should go in secure manner. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, but while retrieving, you can use HTTP. Yes, also there's no issues in that. But you can also use HTTP while retrieving. But while sending some information, creating some information, all those, you have to make use of a HTTP. Yes. Okay, and SMTP. SMTP means Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This is, you can see if you are working in your organization, maybe you will be using Outlook, right? So within the organization level, so to communicate, basically to for the main communication and all, this is what the protocol we use. If you go to the Outlook setting and if you see there they will be mentioning, okay, which protocol they are using. Obviously, they will be using the SMTP only. So within the limited connection, okay, within the limited connection, if we want to communicate with one person to one person, means we will be making use of a SMTP. Okay, this FTP means like file transfer protocol. So this is nothing but whenever we are transferring some files from one application to application in the mobile. Okay, so okay, I have all these slides. Okay, so I have stored that in my Google Drive. Okay, so I stored it in my Google Drive. So whatever the thing I have stored in my Google Drive, that I had to share with you all. Okay, so while storing and while sharing, so whatever the protocol it is using, that is nothing but file transfer protocol. Okay, so inside my Google, so I'm stored all these slides that I have to share with you all. So by the time whatever the protocol they are using is nothing but file transfer protocol. Okay, so these are the different. This is just like extra simply the information about other protocols. Okay, so knowing about these two is more than enough. Okay, because this is what we are going to work. Okay, okay, so this is fine about the protocols and parameters. This is fine. Domain name is this is I've already explained. Okay, so okay, domain name I've already explained. This is port number. Yeah, this is what I already explained, right? So we can't install two applications in one port number. All applications should run in a different port number. Okay. So what happens if we use the same port number for two applications? Okay. Every application will be associated with one specific unique port number when it installed. The port number is used to identify the specific application inside the computer. Okay. So if you try to use only same port number, we ended up with some you know crash of the application. Application will get crashed sometime, okay, because it's not able to run at a time two applications simultaneously, so it will get crashed and it will throw you some error. Okay, so these are all the basic information about the APIs, and we'll look into this now. Okay, so API essentials. Okay, first part before jumping into some other JSON essentials, we are going with this API essentials. Okay, so what is API? This is the interview question. Okay, so what is API? API is nothing but application programming interface. Okay, you know that, right? Application programming interface. So it is an interface. It allows two applications to talk each other. This I already explained. Okay, so two applications to talk each other means this is the client application. Maybe this is built in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some other front-end language. Okay, with some front-end technology. This is my server, nothing but backend. It is built in some other language. Okay. So now the question is how this front end will communicate with this backend. Okay. So in interview, they will not directly ask you like this and all. Okay. How API works, how it is happening, like that they will not ask you. They will ask you in the scenario basis questions. Okay. So suppose one application is there that we have built in the HTML language, and another application is there that we have built in the Python language. Okay, so I want to send some information from my HTML application to my Python application. So what technology I can use to communicate with these two applications? So like that they will ask you the scenario basis question. Okay, so by the time you can use that, since it's developed in different languages, so we can make use of we can integrate API to achieve the communication between the client and the server. Okay, so this is all you need to answer. Okay, this is all the scenario based question you may come across in interview. Okay, so this is way to achieve this communication API comes into picture. Okay, so this is all the things what I have explained, I have mentioned in this document, guys. Okay, so once after the demo session, once the actual class starts, maybe from Friday or maximum on the Monday. Okay, by the time I will share all this document with you all. Okay. So then, okay.
Ma'am, like
Mm.
I hope you have not explained about the client and the server.
Mm, this one.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So nothing, no, client is nothing but like this is a front end. Okay. I mean to say, if you're opening the Facebook means, whatever the page you're seeing, right, like front end page, that is nothing but your client side application. Okay. Means client is nothing but like user interface for the user. Okay. How to tell? See, this is the Facebook. This is one application, okay? So this is why we are calling it as a client, because client is using it. Okay, user is using it.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, this is one application. So this client usually, whatever the user interface, this will be developed in some front end technologies only. Okay. So it's not possible to make use of a back-end technologies here. So front-end technologies is nothing but here what I mentioned, like HTML, JavaScript, all these things are the front-end technologies. Okay. this is nothing but a front end application. This is nothing but a client. Okay, so here you are able to just send the information here like this. Okay, so but whatever the information you are sending, it will be processed in the backend. That is nothing but a server. So you are entering some information as a client. I'm just entering, okay, your username and password I'm entering here, and this username and password is going to the backend. Okay, it's in the backend, and here what processing will happen. Okay, understanding, right? So what we do while we are development, when we are developing the application, so this is how developers do. So front end developers will be the different, and back end developers will be the different. Front end developers will be responsible to develop the front end. Okay, so they will develop this front end, and they will expose some APIs with the parameter what are the fields they are specified here. By looking into that API, this developers will work on in the backend. For the backend development, it's not possible to make use of a HTML or this CSS and all, okay? Because that is not a supportable language for the backend activity. This is HTML, CSS, all this, only for the implementation of the user interface. User interface is nothing but client side application. That's whatever we can see in our eyes. Okay. So with this application, with this technology, to this technology, communication should happen, right? If this, whatever the information user is entering here, if this has to go inside and it has to process means, with this too, communication should happen here, right? So how it will happen? Through API. Okay.
Okay.
Understanding or required more example.
Yes,
Understanding, right? Basic idea. Understanding?
yes, yes.
See, that's why guys, okay, nowadays, not nowadays, it's always, okay. API, knowledge on the APIs is, is high on demand, okay. In every organization, in the development also, in with respect to testing also, okay. So with the development also nowadays, if the developers doesn't have a idea on the API development, nowadays, not even they are hiring, okay, because everything now depends on the APIs only. Okay, so the person who have a knowledge on the APIs development will have high on demand, and the person who have knowledge on the validation of the APIs is a high on demand now. Now you can open the Naukri and you can just see the description of the job. Okay, each and every company is specified the knowledge of the they want candidate who having the knowledge on the API validation, REST APIs, implementation of the framework of APIs. All this knowledge they're expecting now. Okay, because this nowadays everything on API only. Okay, so this is how it happens. Okay, so this is completely front end technology, this is back end technology. So whatever, being a user, I'm coming here and I'm entering my name and my entering my other details, and I'm just clicking on the submit button. Okay, but this information, being a client, okay, client, user, everyone, we are only whoever using the application. Okay, means user interface is nothing but client interface. Okay, client application is nothing but this whatever we can see in our eyes. Okay, so whatever the information we are giving here, that has to go back in and it has to process there. After that only it will again give us back the result. Okay, but this processing will happen in the server side. Okay, so this server side, obviously they have to develop in some other language like a Java language, some programming language, okay? Python, PHP, okay? Node.js nowadays, okay? These are the backend languages they have to make use. This with the backend language, with the front end language, we have to communicate. So this is our API. Okay. So what happens, in the company side? So once after developing the front end, they will expose the APIs. Okay. So based upon the APIs only, the backend development will start. Okay. So this is how it works. Understand? Are there any issues in understanding this? Okay.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
issues. Okay. If you're stuck in some way, means you just let me know. Okay. If you're facing any issue in understanding something, means you just let me know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Tilak. Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
I have some question. Can I ask
Mm-hmm.
or later?
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. No
Uh,
issues.
Actually, I miss it up August session, and ma'am, when regular session is started means actual class is started, or like a Monday or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like just these 4 days of time we are giving, just you guys to get enrolled for the course. Okay, so that's why we are running the demo sessions. Okay, but this is a part of the course only. Whatever the things I'm teaching, this is a part of the course only. Okay, not apart from the course I'm doing. I'm already started actually. This I explained, right? Like this is what. So now we are in API essentials. Today this is done. Tomorrow we do the Postman essentials. Then we jump with the JSON essentials. Okay. So
Okay.
once after completing this, here we are performing the API testing using the manual approach. Okay. So once after this, we'll then jump into the Java essentials. Okay. So we have already started the course actually, okay. But we are actual class means what happens after this Thursday or a Friday, they will change this joining link, okay. The people who have enrolled for the course, then they will be allowed to join the class. Okay, they are going to change this mm, joining link, okay. So that's what will change. But I've already started that.
Portion.
Means yeah, course. Okay, this is what I'm teaching, this part of this only. Before jumping into all these things, so this is all the prerequisite
Class
topics.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
class only happen on 7th August, 8th August, and 9th August. Only 3 days. Am I right?
Yes, yes, yeah, yesterday there was no
No.
class. Okay, only 8th it's happened, and the 7th it's like a workshop it is.
Okay. Okay. So I missed 8 August only. So after the when
8th,
I
no, like 8th topic today, today I explained that a web URL concept, right? That is what I covered.
okay, okay.
Okay. Today, anyhow, I refreshed all those concepts. But it's okay. They will provide videos. No issues. Okay.
Okay.
Nothing
Uh,
bad. Check it.
uh, okay.
Okay.
When we enroll, so daily basis you provide the recordings or
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Once after the actual class starts, no, by the time they will create one Google Drive link. In that Google Drive, daily basis, they will be uploading the videos.
okay. and
Everyday videos you will be getting.
is there after the completion of course are you provide any certificate like or no?
Yes, maybe management will provide that. Yes, like you can contact the management, no?
Okay.
Yeah, they will provide it. After, of course, completion certificate they will provide.
Okay. And ma'am, is there any material are you provide like writing material are you provide from your side or nothing? At the time of lecture is ongoing, we will make our personal note.
No, 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 no. I will only provide it. Okay. So, okay. So like this, I will only provide each and every topics material means. Okay. Like if I completed today, this means today I will share this notes
Okay.
like this. Okay. It includes all the code what I'm working in the class along with some explanation. Okay. So, once after completing the topics, go through these notes and along with the videos, so then you will get a clear clarity once again. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Everyday basis notes I will be sharing. Okay. So this is all. Okay. So this is the scripts. Okay. Or whatever the scripts I complete in that day notes I will share. All together I will not share. Whatever the topics I cover, that topics notes I will be sharing daily
Mm.
basis. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Along with that, I will provide some, assignment kind of. You try to work with those assignments.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay, like this. I will give wherever it's required. I will give some information about that. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
Mm. Okay. So, mm, okay. So now, okay, this is done. Um. hmm, Okay. So, okay, what is the API is done? And if they ask you what is REST API, so REST API is a type of API that uses a REST architecture design. Okay, this is what simple answer. This is all the interview question, guys. Okay, and that's why I've created the document and I will be sharing with you. Okay, once it's actual class starts. Okay, so just you can tell that the stands for representational state transfer. It is a set of constraints or design pattern that developers can follow when they create their APIs. Okay, so REST API is nothing but they have some certain set of constraints. Okay, by using that they will be developing the APIs. So what are those constraints? Client server, stateless, cache, uniform interface, late system, good on demand. So this is like being a test engineer, just to knowing about this is more than enough. Okay, it's not required to go deep into it. Okay, because this is not required because this like developers point of view, this is while developing the REST APIs, developers as to must and should they have to use all these constraints while developing the APIs. Okay, so by using all these constraints only, they will develop a APIs. Okay, okay. So then, okay, after the API, like it is, what is JSON? This is the interview question. Okay, so what is JSON? So JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation. And why it is so famous now? Why it is very famous than the HTML and XML? Because this is the lightweight language. Okay, this is the lightweight language, and this is a human readable language and easy to understand. It's very easy to understand. Okay, just a small example I have provided here. If you Okay, so it's a lightweight language, human readable, easy to understand. It contains key value pane as shown below. Okay, how JSON look like means this is fashion. Okay, so this is the one object. Okay, this is one object. Inside the object, we specified parameters in the form of key value pane. Okay, ID means ID. First name, okay, first name of the value, and last name value, email and email value. Okay, so this is key, this is value. So easy to understand it, right? How easy it is. If if you observe the HTML and XML thing, one second, I'll show you that. Maybe I will be having here. Mhm. Desktop, desktop, desktop. Oh, okay, see, observe this. This is the Java object, means how we can create the objects in Java. How we are created? Okay, so yeah, with the help of the class name, we will be creating the objects, right? So okay, that's fine. So here, XML object. This is the JSON object. If you want to create some objects in Java means, what we have to do, we have to make just just take it as a class. A is the class, and we have to create a reference, and we have to make use of a new keyword. And again, we have to call the class, call the constructor. Okay, and then we have to make use of the object reference here to call some data. Okay, some more. Okay, okay. So okay, this is the Java object. So if you see here, this is XML object. Okay, so how to define? So see, employee tag it is opened here, and ID tag it's open and ID tag it's closed. Name tag it's open and name tag it's closed. And again, one more, like number tag it's open and number tag it's closed. Okay, if you have multiple numbers, multiple times, so the number that tags they are defining. Then again, if you want to specify some wife details again here, again they are opening the tag, closing the tag, and here opening the tag and closing the tag. Okay, okay. Compare this two with this JSON object. How easy it is, right? To look also, to understand also, to read also, to write also. Correct? See, to specify single ID, we have to make use of so many tags here. Okay, if the person is very new to this technical language and all means, he will get fear by looking into these tags only. Oh my god, so much of code. Even when we are studying engineers, by looking into these tags only, we were getting fear to learn Java or all these languages, right? Because we were feeling that we have so many pages of code. Correct? This is what we also experienced during our college days. So, see, so many tags they have used to define the values. Okay, so here to specify the ID, simply ID parameter name and the value. Simple. Okay, even the person who doesn't have a knowledge on the coding also can understand easily and can write that what exactly they're specifying. Okay, even the person with a zero technical knowledge can also understand this what they're specifying here. But if you look into this XML object, nobody can understand. If the person is not having a idea on it, he will not even understand anything here. Okay, so and the person who is new to this field, will get fear by looking into all these tags, and he may end up with missing, writing some tags also here, right? But here this is not like that. So just opening this curly brace and just specifying with a double quotes and some syntax we need to follow, that's all. But anyone can easily understand that what exactly they are writing here, and what exactly they are specifying here. Okay, so this is very lightweight language and easy to understand, easy to write also. Okay, and okay, lightweight is okay. This is just observe this too with XML and JSON. Why nowadays this is the interview question, guys. Okay, they will in interview they will ask you. Okay, we know that XML, in means previously and all we were following the XML approach. Why all of a sudden in your organization you have used JSON? Why you are not used XML? Give me the justification, like that they may ask you. Okay, so what you have to tell, the first means whenever they are asking such kind of question, the first answer should be JSON is a very lightweight language. Since it is a lightweight, it helps us to in processing the data faster than compared to other language. Okay. See, if you observe here, how many tags is specified to mention this information. Okay. So to processing will happen, it takes so much of time to process each and every tag and each and every information here. Okay? Since it is very lightweight, they define it's very within a fraction of second only the process will happen and it will retrieve the response. Okay, so if you run one time the XML code and run one time JSON code and just check how much time XML code has taken and how much time JSON time has taken. Okay, so you know processing will be easier if you make use of a JSON. It will take a less time. Obviously, we need that only, right? When we are validating, we have to concern about the performance of the application also. Okay, if the performance is low, then it will be very bad. Okay, we have to enhance the performance of the application. Okay, so JSON is very helpful in achieving that. That's why even the developers, everyone nowadays are jumping into the JSON only. Okay, so logically you can also think to processing all these tags only it will take us so much of time. Okay, so here we don't follow any tags and all. We just directly we are giving a data about information about the data within inside the single quotes. Okay, so this is how. That's why it is very since it is very lightweight language, processing time is also less. If the processing time is less, what happens? Performance of the application is also more. Okay, it is like internally connected. Okay, like in API also we have to add it in some of that in means how much time it is taking to give the response back. Whenever we are sending the request, how much time it is taking to give the response back to us. That is very important. If it is taking too much of time, so then we need to inform the developer that the service is taking so much of time. Please look into it. Okay, then they will again go there and they will check logs and all, why it is taking so much of time, why this API is taking so much of time, why this service is taking so much of time in providing the response. They will work on it and they will give a fix. Again, they will give the same API to us. Then being a test engineer, again we need to add it on it. Again we need to work on it. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, so here, hmm, okay, so this is what all about JSON, but not only this much. Okay, this is just a with respect to the API essentials. I'm just giving a overview of the JSON. There are so many topics we have in the JSON. Okay, so this is just a simple example of the syntax of the JSON. Okay, in the JSON we have several topics like this is just a simple object. So we may have a nested object. Okay, nested object means object inside the object, arrays inside the object, complex data inside the objects. Okay, so how we can work with this, how we can create such kind of data inside the JSON, all these things we'll be learning in the further sessions. Okay, so this is just an overview of the topics. So like we will be having the JSON array. Okay, nested array, inside the array multiple objects, or we can define that, or we can send that data. For example, this is the employees. Okay, okay, so when we go with the arrays concepts, when we have a multiple data, multiple sets of data, so employees. Okay, employees means inside the employees we will be having the multiple employees. Correct, employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, employee 4, employee 5, employee 6, employee 7, employee 8. Okay, etc. 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 Okay, so like whenever we have a bunch of data, it is recommended to use a array concept. Okay, so this is the data now. So how we can create a JSON array and how we can uh, give a details about each and every employee inside that array. Okay, so here this is employees is the array now. Okay, so inside that employee 1 is one object, employee 2 is one object, employee 3 is one object. So these are the multiple objects inside that. Okay, so we will be learning, no issues. Okay, so we'll be learning in further sessions how we can write, how we can define all these things will be like learning in further sessions. Okay, But as part of this overview of the API essentials, just know the syntax and the format of this JSON. Okay. Okay. This is done. API essentials is done. Tomorrow we'll be starting with the Postman essentials. Okay. Okay. Any doubt with respect to this?
Um,
Okay.
so, ma'am, in this course, we cover Postman Tool also. Am I right?
Yes, 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 yes. That I'll show you. Yeah. This is what complete topic. So we're done with the before jumping into the API testing. What are all the things we should be learning? Okay. So this is just a overview I given, like about the URL, about URL parameters, and like JSON language, and some topics like exactly what API, how it works, all those things. Okay, we done with the API essentials. Now from tomorrow, like Postman essentials. Okay, so Postman essentials and then some idea of JSON. So once after completing this Postman essentials and the JSON essentials, we will be working with the Postman tool. Okay, so this is the Postman tool. So we'll be working with all these things. Okay. Okay. So we'll be working with all these things like how to work with a collection, why we need to go for the collection, what happens if we don't have a collection, and what is environments, what is mock server, how to create a mock server, how to work with the different environments, how to work with all these HTTP methods, okay, and how to work with the request and response, how to validate all this response, and how to work with authorizations. We have a different authorization to work all these things. Everything will be learned. Okay. So believe me, it's so interesting and it is we will be enjoying the class if you guys also showing the same interest. Okay, that is very important, right? Okay. So it's working with APS is so cool. Mm, yeah. Anything else? Have any doubt? I'll give it 2 minutes. It's already 13. So if you have any doubt, let me know. Any doubt, guys?
Yeah, Harshil, PK here.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, when can I expect the recorded session of the same session?
Sorry, what were you asked? When you can
Recorded session. Recorded
record it?
video. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Please do.
So yeah, once after the enrollment, yeah, they will share you the recording session.
So from the day one, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, from the day one.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So it's like if you are in a plan to enroll for the course, please make it as soon as possible, okay? So that we can start with the actual classes, okay? Yes, I started the actual classes only. This is a part of the class, but before jumping into this, just postman validation and all. So yeah, before that, if you are planning to enroll the course, make it as soon as possible so that we can start it as soon as possible.
Sure, sure. Yeah, got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Anything else?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. So I think all of you are working on it, right?
More or less, I guess.
Yes,
Working, right? Learning?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, follow this. Okay, okay. Maybe office has started, right?
Not yet.
Oh, great. Hybrid also not started?
No, no holidays.
Oh, okay. Hybrid model also not started. Then, yeah, okay, okay. Oh, Monica it started. Okay. Then lucky people who are not started with hybrid also. Okay. Okay, guys. Then, yeah. Then we'll connect tomorrow again, okay? Have a great day. Bye-bye.
yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
If anything required, if you're, if you're planning the enrollment or if you need any clarification, you just contact the management, they will connect with me, okay?
Yeah,
Okay. Bye-bye.
yeah.
Bye, Hal.